believe we're live. So, oh, this is recording. Let's see. I don't know we're live. Okay, hi. Greetings from the Sacred Synthesis. If you're just finding us, welcome. We're an entheogenic church that provides support, information, ceremony, and sacrament to aid others in their highest expansion, healing, and connection to the divine. I'm Carla Crochet. I work in the daily operations of the church. I'm also a psilocybin ceremony facilitator, so this topic has also always fascinated me. Um, for today's conclave, we're doing the hero's dose, which is we decided to do it on entities. And so I'm joined. Daily operations of the church. Sorry. So I'm joined by a special guest today, my dear friend and partner in ceremony work. She also works with the body code and many other different forms of energy work and all kinds of other things that I don't even really know. She also actually works with removing attachments. So we'll go into that later and kind of let her talk about that because it's some things that I don't know that much about that she does. So that's fun. So we have, from doing ceremonies together, we've both, witnessed all types of different entities, just different energies, right, in the space. And so it can be confusing to people. And if you're not informed and you just don't know how to navigate it, it could be really confusing. So before we dive in to this conclave on entities, I'd like to share some exciting news from the church. So we've created a much more approachable exchange of the sacraments that we work with, which are silomethoxin and low 5-MeO, which is administered via vape pen and also nasal mist. And be sure to check out our shop page at thesacredsynthesis.com to learn more. And for more information on what our sacrament compounds are, you can visit our sacraments page on our website, or you can view last week's conclave, which is how to work with our sacraments. So also, this Saturday, we're rehosting our monthly light wand ceremony, which you can catch virtually. To attend live or receive the replay, you must register in advance. So see the link in the description. And then one more really exciting announcement that I have is beginning September 7th, we're starting a 30-day group protocol. So it's something that you can really participate in. It's with all three of the sacraments, and it's done in a very supportive container in a supportive way. We kick it off with a ceremony on the 7th, and leaders of the church will provide substantial community check-ins and support as you work with the protocol in a supported way from the comfort of your own home. So also with that, you can visit our events calendar at thesacredsynthesis.com to find out more. So let's dive right in. I picked this one right here to do this with me because she knows a lot of different things in different ways of working with this. So I'm excited to have her here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yay. So, okay, I'm gonna take a little sip of water. I might have to take a little sip of water sometimes. This is not a lot. It's plenty. All right. So, what are entities? Like, there's so many. We have been talking about. This is just a conversation that has come up so many times. So no one really, I mean, we don't know. We're not the authority on any of this stuff. We just are people that have dealt with it, and she has learned a lot more about it than me, but we've both learned a little bit about these things. So we're going to talk on it. But this is just our perception and our personal experience. Like, just wanted to throw that in there. So perceived autonomous beings in altered states. And sometimes even in normal states of consciousness. We have a friend that literally sees spirits all the time. So this is not just a could be a gift or a just meditate. There's all kinds of different ways that we will go over later, but there are light and there are dark entities, or you can say there are ones that flow easier and or more are lighter feeling, or
A higher
heavy,
vibrational, a lower vibrational.
light or dark,
Hmm.
higher or lower.
Right.
So and it's there for balance. Like it has to be there. There's nothing wrong with the darkness. There's nothing wrong with the darkness. I just want to throw that in there.
We just don't want to hold on to it.
Yeah, we just
We're
don't
not
know
gonna
exactly.
hold on to
We
it.
don't let All right. So their relevance to ceremony or in regular life. So in ceremony, many times an entity or an energy or a color, it could be all kinds of things, and that's I think the next thing, but it can be shapes and different things. A lot of times that they will pop in to show you something or teach you something, right? Perhaps to look at a shadow for the first time, or seeing a friendly spirit or a past relative that you just wanted to see, and so they're coming in. It can be in a regular life. Like there's many other ways. I'm just throwing a few out there, but in meditation, in any type of tarot card, or like divination, or pendulums, and any of that type of work, you're always calling in spirits. Like many times, like I don't know. I call in my spirit guides and stuff all the time, and angelic beings and all these things. But I don't necessarily think you have to do that. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm kind of going off. But so in regular meditation, so yeah. And then divination work, like calling in the ancestors. Like that's obviously, yeah, that's a way of communicating with entities. They can be, like I said, light or dark, good or bad. So we're in constant communion with spirits and entities. It's just, do we know it or not? Like we make them up. We literally create. I'll get into that later too. We create them, and
It's so much
and
to
they're
talk about.
here.
It's so much to talk about.
We could literally do this.
I know we could go on for hours.
Okay, so so the forms that you may see an entity would be like in human form. It could be whatever. It could be in human form. It could be like your auntie, your grandmother that passed, or something like that.
And I think this is more talking about light entities and higher
Mm,
vibrational entities. I think it's important to kind of point that out since we already differentiated, that there's a light and a
sure.
dark, so we're emphasizing the light entities right now.
I mean,
So
some
we're
people
not calling
call
your
it.
grandma a dark entity.
Some people call in dark entities. That's a
Right.
whole nother
That's a whole
ball
other
game.
game.
I mean,
But right now, for what we're saying is
yeah,
right now in this moment, it's for light entities,
yeah,
higher
that's what we
vibrational,
want.
peaceful, loving. So
Yeah, but you're gonna get what you are. So it is what it is. So they can come in many forms. Like I love the animal like ones. We both relate to different animals. Everyone that has done an ayahuasca ceremony or two, like, will relate to some specific animal. The beauty of this is that the animals of the different sacraments come from those territories. So like if you go to an ayahuasca ceremony, you're going to see, like, the
the
jaguar, the
jaguar,
snake,
right,
the hummingbird, the macaws, the parrot, like whatever, monkeys and stuff, the
all
sloths,
the jungle
whatever,
animals, all the jungle
bugs and
spirits.
stuff. But if you go like do peyote and a sacred ceremony in the teepee, you might see some deer. Like the deer is a
Wolves,
big deal.
bear,
Wolves,
eagle, hawk. Yeah.
exactly. Then there are also angelic entities that are just literally here to like walk the earth,
Mhm.
obviously in spirit form. Some people are here, and that's a whole other thing, but in spirit form, they're here to just help people and just like be an uplifting uh, vibration, uplifting energy entity. It's the same thing.
And I
It's
feel like
just,
that could even be something like people that work with like Saint Michael and archangels and
and
things
it's
like that. So I think that archangels and working with them would also fall into place with that.
totally, yeah. And then there are demons, like you can work with them or not. They're all there. I mean, really, that's just the truth of it. And some people choose that, and that's their choice. It's the beauty of free will. So whatever. But the demons, if there is a demon, like I've never seen a demon. However, I've seen people that are under some pretty like weird attach attached, dynamic, sort of looping situations and things in ceremony. So there's definitely that thing that can come, and we'll talk about that after too. But and then there is trickster energy, and you have to be aware of this one because it can come. All of this stuff can come in your normal waking hour, but be careful of this one because especially in ceremony, both all of the time, obviously they're tricksters, so they're gonna come in and be like, yeah, this is be all light and beautiful and this and that, and like get you confused about life and about and about
Hmm.
yourself, and like get start bringing you fear, start bringing you confusion, start just causing havoc in your life. That's a sign of like a weird dynamic trickster
Right.
entity attachment thing. So ways that they are experienced. So yeah, visually. I'm not a huge visual person. It has to be like ayahuasca or certain types of mushrooms. I'm normally an energetic feeling person. Like I feel, just personal, real quick. I feel the spirit of the mushrooms while I dance around while I'm on them, right? So that's a spirit, that's an entity. It's all the same thing. So it's an energetic feeling as well. And then there can be a telepathic communication where like you're literally having a conversation with someone, but it's sort of like your voice. So it makes you kind of think that you're talking to yourself, but it's really not stuff you would
Who's
say.
that?
You know, you
I heard
know,
that. Who's that?
it's so true because it happens. So like, yeah, that just and I believe that that's probably the
Isn't
next
that
thing
funny?
you have
I'd
to
never thought
discern.
about it until you said sometimes it can be your voice, and I started thinking, well,
Well,
wait, it
isn't
sometimes
it
it is.
always?
Yeah, why
Is
is it
it?
my voice?
That's so funny because I mean, I don't know. It's just how it comes to me.
Yeah,
Okay. So
I never thought about that until you
well,
said that.
okay, so while we're on the whole like talking to yourself thing, like, because people may think, oh, I'm just talking to myself. That's the logical answer.
Right. We
Nobody's gonna
look for the
magic.
logic in it, something tangible and logical. It's not always
Yeah.
logical.
Yeah. So I forgot what I had. So anyway, yeah. So telepathic and but then the deep intuitive knowing. There's so
Mm.
like in a real yeah, rocket
Like a
rocket launch.
claircognizant kind of way.
Well, like a rocket launch
Hmm.
by the
Hmm.
Neo blast experience is like this just no, it's energetic, but it's
Yeah.
this knowing that this is the truth. This is
Yeah, you can't explain. You
everything
just
without
know. There's no
yeah.
questions. There's no doubt. It's just this
Nobody
clear,
told you.
undeniable
There
knowing.
wasn't a spirit that told you. However, there was a spirit that was the whole thing, maybe. Hmm. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, so got off subject. Let's go. So where do they come from? So yeah, there are many different philosophies and beliefs on where they come from. Some include like psychological models, like archetypes, like all the archetypes in the
Mm-hmm.
tarot and that kind of thing, like the magician and the emperor and the high priestess and all these things, and just the normal people too. All the different. So there are all these archetypes, and then they also come as your shadow parts, like all the stuff that you've just been suppressing and holding back creates your own little entity, and it just wants you to continue to just bash yourself and down yourself. It's just, we created ourselves. So anyway, yeah, disown pieces of ourselves, shadow parts. um, Also, this is one that I did, but hyperactive pattern recognition. So that just means trying to figure it out right now, right this second. So, like, I've seen this many times too, where people are like, okay, having this experience, they're like, what's going on? What's happening
Yeah.
here? But it's like, if you just, okay, just breathe. If you just, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you just breathe through it and don't think about what is it, what's happening, trying to figure something out, then you just breathe. And then all of the things maybe they'll fall into place in a month. Like who knows? But it's not for you to figure out, right? So all of this ego wanting to figure it out and all of this will start spinning you into loopy loops and all these things like what's happening? I can't figure it out. Your ego's trying so hard, but your spirit wants you to just breathe and rest, right? So
That's a good question, though. Where do they come from?
where do you think they come from?
I don't know, because
Tell
I feel
let's
like it would.
I feel like we have lots of time, so this could be fun.
So, I mean, I think when asking where did they come from, I mean, what type of entity are we talking
Mm.
about?
Let's say the
You
negative
know,
ones. Let's pretend.
let's
Let's
say a
say.
demonic
Let's,
entity.
yeah.
Let's say it's
Mhm.
a spirit or a hybrid entity, which is
Mm.
spirit and energy. Like, where would that come from?
A
Where, like,
person.
could it be?
Yeah,
Would that be what a
I think so.
demonic
I think a person
entity
can
or a
hate
lower
you.
vibrational entity, and then it just continues to exist at this vibration?
And feed off of the person
Mm-hmm.
that's making the hate,
Yeah.
perhaps. This is all perhapses,
Right.
but it makes sense.
But it's a really thought provoking question, because then even on the flip side of that, and think about light deities and higher vibrational deities and deities when you're working with Hinduism or
Mhm.
anything like that. Where do they come from?
They're archetypes, I believe, because I think we're about to get into like what other people believe. Yeah, other people.
Right.
I don't know. I believe all of them, really, to be quite honest with you. I'm all about all the Hindu stuff and all that too. But I believe that they are. This is just my belief. I'm sorry for Hindu people
I
that
mean, I
that
don't
how
even
this
think
does.
it's
I
necessarily
don't.
referring to Hinduism,
It's just
but just
I
like a
believe that
higher vibrational deity, or an angelic deity, or an archangel. Like,
But do you
where
think that
would some
the
of those come
people
from?
created them?
I don't know.
It's so funny.
That's why I said it's a
Like, there's
good
never a
question.
real answer.
I mean, but I have a little bit more experience with working, with the darker entities and attachments, and so like I really never had a question like that made me look at like, oh, well, what about the light ones? I kind of know where the low vibrational ones come from,
Right.
but what about the higher vibrational ones? Source,
Us.
uh, right?
Us. Because we're vibrating at that same. I think that's what I think this whole thing is like. When it comes to the darkness, like where is your body? Where are you vibrating at? Where's your mind? Where are your thoughts? Are you being aware of yourself? Are you being an asshole? Excuse my French, but are you like being a not nice to people? Where can you clean up your mess? Like we all have a little mess here and there. Where can we clean up our mess? Just a little bit of sweet here and there, a little bit every day really helps. Like a meditation or something like that. So, um, let's see, where are we at? Yeah. So, the spirit. So we went over like where they like the philosophies and beliefs
Yeah, where do they
and
come from?
psychological. So, and then the spiritual or like mystical model is they come from the spirit world. I mean, there are, we die, there we become, we're just still energy, right? We
Right,
all
it's
kind
just
of know this,
energy.
or we just keep going in there's spirit worlds, right? So there's ancestors, deities. Like you can make it like, I mean, this is not my ancestor, God forbid, it's my mom, but like if my grandmother was on my altar, right? I could just light this candle and maybe flip this feather a little bit or something and
Call it
contact my
in.
mom, like or whoever was on, just anyway. Just one way of like contacting your ancestors. Same thing with
Well,
deities.
that's
You
what I'm saying.
can
Same thing with deities. You calling them in,
mhm. And nature spirits.
Same thing. Calling them in.
I mean, every ceremony we bring in the fire and the
Hmm.
water and the wind, and the east and the west and the south, and all the animals and all the things, right? As helpers and guides, right? Because that's the other thing, they're helpers and guides. They come in and make sure that the space stays clean. They'll come in and help you in all the ways that they are magic in, right? And all the ways that you need them. You just work with them a little bit. Anything you give your attention to will give back, right? It's kind of like
Right.
it just happens. So
Yeah, I like to kind of
synchronicities.
think of calling in deities, ancestors, or anything that you're working with, especially in like a ceremony space or any space really. Is calling them in and like I'm picturing that they're all coming in with this light.
Mhm.
So everybody's coming in, everyone that
Mhm.
we're calling them in with this
Mhm.
light, because we're not going to let any darkness be in that space.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I like to imagine, whatever it is, if it's a spirit guide, a spirit animal, I mean, whatever it
Okay.
is, everything's kind of coming in with this light and this high vibration and just loving energy, and here to hold and contain the space.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about intention and keeping the space clean. Like it's just all about intention.
We
Yeah,
could
it's
start giving them little
important.
brooms.
And the
Clean, keep this
guns.
space clean for us, please.
Or we could just
Everybody gets a job.
damn, that's a good idea
Everybody
for
gets
like
a
the next
job.
one.
All right.
All right. So so there's also, we believe, interdimensional travelers. So
Yeah.
this is a whole other topic. That would be a good next heroes dose conclave. Interdimensional travelers. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know that there are many other dimensions. I know that I know how this all works, right? Where there's infinite possibilities, infinite, all these dimensions in different places. And I believe that in some spaces, like your typical like DMT blast off, like that would be like seeing, going into a whole nother world where you see entities that are completely different than you, and you go to the same place every time. So it's like, I'm here again. It's like you're the alien to them instead of them being, you know. It almost seems like that. It's interesting. So there are other dimensions that you can see different, and that's kind of like how what happens, right? Like the more
Yeah.
your frequency shifts, the more you'll see those
Right.
in those dimensions or that frequency. Is that, am I saying this right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, I think it's more of even a consciousness.
That's something we didn't even think to talk about was consciousness.
Yeah.
Because I think we're talking, I think we don't know.
Like,
We just don't know.
We're
But
figuring it out.
we talked about this like the weekend before we even decided to do this talk. So it was like, oh,
Really
this would
good
be a perfect
conversation.
talk. So, okay. Yeah, interdimensional travelers. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. And so there's light entities. So we'll do the light entity traits and their role. Like what do they come for? So their traits are loving, compassionate, radiant as far as the way they look. They're always like beaming and glowing, these like white and gold and like whatever. Sometimes other colors, but normally like white or gold type colors, fractal like sacred geometry all over them, just beautiful. Like don't want to take your eyes off of them. Beautiful. And their role is to heal trauma, um, provide reassurance and insight, provide guidance, be your guides, and act as a gatekeeper to deeper parts of yourself. So that just means really uh,
Maybe higher parts of yourself.
simply vibrating with them. They'll show you deeper, better parts of yourself. Just like probably vibrating with the other one will show you the other way.
Right.
So I'm gonna let Brittany do the dark entity one, just because she knows him better.
Sounds wonderful.
Silly.
So dark entities and traits. They can be fear-inducing, deceptive, parasitic, or invasive. Um, Dark energies are typically lower vibrational in my experience, and I feel like, and with my experience with working with dark entities, um, really all of what I've experienced would almost even be parasitic, an attachment, because I don't necessarily work with them for anything that I want.
Right.
I don't work with dark entities in that way. It's more of like, you got to get out of there. So just from my experience, it really is more of like a parasite, or sometimes it's even just an energy, it's an energy of it that's stuck there somewheres, and they can really cause a lot of turmoil, with low vibrational feelings, heavy feelings, dark feelings.
I can even tell them my story without saying names.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll just quick story because we have tons of time. So quick story. I had a, let's just say, friend that we suddenly did not like each other anymore. And this person just decided to totally obsess about hating me. Okay. There was nothing I actually did besides maybe kind of like not talk to the person, whatever. So, but this person hated me so deeply that somehow sent me some sort of attachment. Not, he might have been working with some sort of a dark matter. Who knows what he was doing? I don't know. But somehow it was stuck. It was in me, and I felt completely helpless. I felt like I'm not good enough. It was all this weird stuff I used to think back, before I did my self work. Like it was like all these things just dragging me down. So I called her and I was like, look, I don't know what's really happening, but I need your help. So she did her magic and 100% let me know, yeah, it was this thing from this person and it's gone now. And I cried for about a day. And so it's really a thing that can really be actually stuck in you. So
Right.
I
It
just
can be
thought
stuck to
that,
your like physical body, your energetic body, your spiritual body. Um, yeah, and I think with that you even had some like entity attachment and like
I had never done that before.
yeah,
So who knows what was.
yeah. We cleared that out. It ain't there no more. But okay, we got off
All right.
track.
Yeah.
Dealing with the dark
Well,
entities. Um, so let's see, emotional and energetic pressure points. That's your note there.
yeah, they can sort of be like a test of courage. Like, what are you going to do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you going to freak out? Or are you going to like breathe and chill? And they can be a shadow work catalyst. All of this, just like the emotional and energetic pressure points, that's just another catalyst. It's like triggers, right?
Right.
It's like you press on this little button and make you see, and some people they start kind of freaking out a little bit, and some people just breathe through it, right? It's like an energy that just goes right through you if you just let it. Typically, the kind that I'm talking about anyway,
Right.
you know. But they can look scary and monstrous and just dark, all of those ways.
And I think
Um,
just like with the light, if you're going to be working, with dark entities, it's something that you're going to be calling in, and or even if it's something that you don't want to work with, that's there, you're going to be casting it out, you know, because there are people that do work with light and dark and in different ways and everything, and so I do think that that is a part of it too, and working with it, and it's not, since it's something that we don't typically do. We don't really have the experience or input on that, but it,
mhm,
it can be a part of it.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why do any of them come? So, when you consume some of the plant teacher sacraments like ayahuasca, like psilocybin, like somathoxin, like all of the things, um, these entities can come to you as mirrors or teachers. So, let's just say a big scary monster goes rah, or let's just say you did ayahuasca and the jaguar comes through and goes rah. Well, typically in that moment, like you'll either like make friends with it or not. Make friends. It's not going to eat you, but you'll either like make friends with it, or it'll growl at you until you sort of growl back. It may be whatever. It's either it could be trying to show you that how you're angry at someone else or yourself. It could be a mirror, right? So it could be telling you that you need to be more like this. You need to get more aggressive. Mm. Um, teacher. So it can show, when I say show you things, it can show you things through like telepathy and knowing all the things
Right.
the knowingness and the energetic feeling and things like that. um it can give you higher insight, right? I've not been one to like sit there and speak to a spirit in a medicine journey, but I have had a friend who has, not that long ago, and it really was interesting. And so this person talked to the medicine all night for 2 nights. So, some are complete teachers. They just want to teach you things. That was that experience. I've not had that one. I've had the experiences where I'm the snake and the jaguar and all this, like the normal ones. So anyway, it can come as all kinds of things, right? Um, higher insight, yeah, healing or energetic work.
Yeah, calling them in, you know, to work with you, whatever your intentions are. You know,
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
manifesting, you're healing. Calling whatever it is. You're calling that in. To work with them and for energetic stuff and healing. So that's
a-
what you're doing.
and they literally, there's been in like my one of just an experience that I've had, um, maybe even several ayahuasca experiences probably, where a spirit just comes up to me, feminine sort of spirit, and just starts doing stuff to me, and I don't feel it, but I hear it talking. I don't hear it, but I feel it. Anyway. I know that she's talking to something else about me. It's almost like it's like, yeah, she's dirty. Let's sweep this up. What's going on right here? Let's see this.
What's in there?
So like they literally come and like perform energetics. I've literally had it and felt it in my body, not like a bad thing, but energetically. Like if it
Yeah.
would be like a phantom, or maybe that's worse, probably. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Um, Also to show you your shadows so that you can integrate them. Right? I don't know a good example of that one.
Mm. I don't know. I
So,
mean, like, as far as like with looking at your shadow. I mean, that could even be something as far as like an ego death.
mm,
And I mean, because I can't have a medicine experience where I'm not getting these little like ego death checks. I'm like,
oh,
check, check,
totally.
you know. And so I mean,
Just making
I
sure.
feel like some of that stuff could definitely be a shadow side to us and things that we need to work on, and then to integrate that, to kind of cut out the bullshit.
Mm, totally. And then they can come as cosmic messengers, like, I mean, cool. Yeah. Most of the entities I've seen, like
Right.
in journeys, have definitely been like some sort of alien type situations. It's not really ever human. I don't think I've ever seen a human, but so cosmic messengers. So literally, some people have, they call it downloads, in the new agey community, and like whatever. It's just information. It's just energy. It's just information being sent down to you. So that can happen too. It's not my experience, but I know it happens.
All right.
Um, I want you to help me with this one. So
You
some of the
got it.
things, so some of the things that we can do to sort of sail through the waves of the energy and ceremony, because it's just a big wavy sort of situation, is stay grounded. So
Always. That's so important to stay grounded.
and pulling on the
Move
pulling
your
on the.
toe.
See, we have a little thing where we go and pull on people's toes a little bit, just to like, you're still here.
We got you. You're tethered.
You're still here, and they literally go like.
You can go way out in the cosmos. We got your tether. We'll reel you in.
So it's like it's almost like when you ground and you touch your knee, like there's a knee thing. So any type of like body awareness, just try to like
Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, move your feet, move your hips, kind of brings you back into your body.
actually that's a really good idea. So just movement in general, like sort of just start wiggling. I started doing this a few years ago when I wanted to change the way I energetically purged. I started wiggling my body, and instead of this way, I would just move, and like the stuff would just come out somehow of the movement. The energy would just come out of the movement, and that's ecstatic dance things come from that and all that. But you can just move around in ceremony or whatever, just to gain that awareness of where you're feeling yourself and the butt to the ground situation and that kind of thing. So
And I feel like this is still talking more about like the light energy, the lighter part of it.
okay.
You know,
So what happens in the dark part of it?
well, I think for one, I mean, regarding the ceremony space that we create, we really create a space that is not allowing any of this darkness in, and helping to release and transmute darkness that anybody may be carrying with them into that space.
That's where it is.
Right.
obviously people are coming in for a reason. And they don't
Yeah.
come because they're like, I'm super clean, I don't have any problems. No, they come in because they want help. So of course they're gonna bring in a few little things here and there. And so that's kind of like that's the gig, right?
Yeah.
To know when to open the door and could do the smudge and do all the different sounds and things to help that. But anyway, we did sort of get off subject. When you encounter, and I don't know why we went back to dark entities, but I think we're still on it. So when we encounter something that we perceive to be dark, because just because it's like colored dark, is that I don't know, is that a dark entity? Just 'cause I guess so.
I mean, I would
I would
think.
think so too. But I'm just saying, it's just like our silly, we don't know. But if you believe you encounter one, what do? You freak out. Most people freak out.
Most people
Most
freak
people
out.
freak out. So instead of freaking out, you know, these things cannot actually hurt us. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I
I
believe
don't
they
have
can make you go
experience with that,
crazy
but
over time or something.
right.
But if you catch it early enough, So the bottom
Yeah,
line,
we catch it early enough.
we're gonna put
Get it
Brittany's
out
phone
of
number
there.
in the.
Get it out of there.
So Uh, what I've been taught and what I do also is ask questions. I don't have a whole lot of dark entities, but when I do see darkness at all, I'm just like, what are you? I
Hmm.
just sort of get playful and curious about it because don't I'm not letting them know I'm
Right.
scared or think I'm really not scared because it's not going to do anything anyway. I don't think or to me. But if I do see it, I just want to know what it is. What are you? Who are you? What's going on? What do you need? Like, what do you want? What do you need to know? What are you here to tell me? All kinds of questions. So if that's going to happen, realize it's going to happen regardless if you freak out or not,
Right.
period. Because if you freak out in that situation, it becomes very big and it doesn't have to be very big. It can just be contained into a small space and dealt with in a really easier manner. So um obviously like use discernment, which just means like energetic qualities, so like the heavier, the darker, typically, and the lighter, the lighter, the
The
lighter,
lighter, the lighter.
the brighter, the lighter. You know, yeah, that's the typical. Um, you just know what's not right and what's right, typically.
Typically.
For me, I do. So, okay, I'm gonna let you do this thing because setting boundaries really should be the first thing you do, like that, but we're gonna tell you now. But this should be the first thing you do if you're gonna actually go into a ceremony space. You do it
Right.
first.
I mean, or even if you're, doing medicine by yourself, it's always really good, to
Mhm.
set your space, essentially, taking the medicine is you're kind of opening a portal and you're opening gateways and doors and things can get in. And so I like to really go into this space protected,
Mhm.
um, guarded, and kind of call in my team, like we're going to create this space. This is
Mhm.
what we're going to do, you know? And I think it's really important too to the to focus on and be really intentional with the space that you create because you don't want to open yourself up to where you're susceptible for lower vibrational attachments and entities and things like that that you don't want to work with. Again, if that's something you want to work with, then that's your intention, but that's just not an area that we work in, so I do think that it is real. That's like the first most important part is making sure that you're in a safe space, whether it's going to someone's ceremony, one of your own, sitting by yourself, whatever it is. I don't ever do anything casually to where it's just
Yeah.
I'm wide open for you, come on in. And experience really kind of taught me to hone in on that, from being in
Totally. Yeah.
medicine spaces and ceremony spaces. And, I mean, I can recall a ceremony years ago and like literally I could hear, just this like dark entity trying to call my attention outside of the space, you know. I've been in an ayahuasca ceremony where literally I could like sense and feel dark attachments, like looking in on this space and like almost like a scanning, like where can I get in there at? So it's just I take that part very seriously. I don't want anything getting in there, and anything else that comes in that we're having to get rid of, I don't want it going out there to anyone. I'll
That's
never
right.
forget starting out one of the ceremonies that I attended with you, and I kind of like collected this ball of energy, and I was so new, but I was just like, I had this just ball of energetic crap, and I was like, I don't know what to do with it, and I kind of like, huh. And I felt so bad for so long because I'm like, I've just got this energy ball of just crap rolling around in the world. And then I was like, I think I need to connect with it and like transmute it. So somebody isn't just walking along and picking up this ball of stuff that I threw over my shoulder one night, And so I take that part really seriously. And with, and since we work with the light, it is really being intentional with, I like to create a shield, like a dome, a bubble, a force field shield. And I keep it very secure, you know. I run a tight ship with that to not letting anything in there, you know. I know I'm probably getting off track.
No, I mean, you're talking about it, like how do we set the boundaries? Like that's the first and foremost part is the very beginning.
Right.
But she does her little bubble thing. Like we do smudge, like we do
Yeah.
all kinds of things we do prayer. We call in we call in all the directions and
Yeah,
all the
calling my
animals
spirit
and all the
guides, only my true spirit guides, and
we
benevolent energies and entities and everything that's meant for me and my highest good, and everybody that's
everyone
going to be in
else.
this space, everything that's meant for them and their highest good. And I let everyone know any darkness that comes in, any low vibrational energies, entities, anything that's trying to attach, to detach. Um, my intention with the space that I create is to hold space, release, and then transmute. So anything that is dark or low vibrational, or that could be something that could potentially connect to someone, and that could
Yeah.
really just kind of cause bad things that come with low vibrational attachments and things, to really release that and transmute it. Like we don't want it to exist anymore. I don't want it to go to anyone else. So,
I mean, I feel like that's basically our part. I mean, there's many parts of but like our main part of ceremony is just keeping it clean. Like
right.
as the night progresses, there's more kapow on on the smudge, and there's more, you know, sounds and different things happening.
Right.
Every time we feel something, Brittany's really good at knowing if someone's not okay, even though they look fine. I'm like,
But
how did you
it's
know
not.
this person's
It's
not?
not. I
But
swear, it's like it's the my spirit guides and higher power, and it's intuition. I
she's
always
just
say I'm just
magic.
the vessel. It's not Brittany doing it. It's just the vessel. And something says
She's
you
good
need to
stuff.
go over there, and I'm like,
I
okay.
forgot why we were even talking about that. But yeah, but
With the boundaries and
yeah. So yeah, you can say prayers, like whatever thing you believe, whatever your heart believes in your religion is, if you have one or whatever, like we are not here to say anything's good or bad. So whatever your prayers are, your intentions are, your way of doing it, if it's drumming or playing music, or if it's kneeling on your knees or doing certain mudras and mantras and yoga and things like that, whatever, it's all good. Just put your spin on the prayer or the intention, and it just is because we're just that powerful. So protective visualization is what she was talking about with the bubbles. And then integration is important because
Mm.
sharing that experience is like if you just do it and then you go home and like you just I mean, that might be fine, great too, but a big part of integration is sharing with trusted people,
Right.
or your facilitators or whatever it is.
And then incorporating
Mm. God, I want to talk about. We need to talk about that one time too.
We'll do it.
We'll do an integration. Okay, so this is kind of fun. So
Mm.
some cross-cultural perspectives. Oh my goodness, we have 15 minutes. We got this. All right, Amazonian shamanism, plant, animal, ancestor spirits, allies as allies or foes. I didn't dig into that, but I'm probably gonna just because I want to know more about that. But we
Yeah.
know plant and animal for sure,
Right.
In the Amazon, and the animals are just so prevalent to the experiences. It's almost like it's more than anything else. You see animals, and so that is definitely a huge spirit in that deal. Now, Tibetan Buddhism, I don't know a whole lot about, but it says I've done a little research, and this is wrathful and peaceful deities, kind of like Hinduism.
Yeah.
Wrathful and peaceful. I think they're all this. I think they all go both ways.
I think it all could be
maybe I'm not-
wrathful or peaceful.
Yeah, I think maybe
Maybe.
that's it. And then African traditions. Now, I've seen some of these. It's funny because I've seen some of these TikTok videos that show, and they show these different initiations, these African different tribes. Fascinates me. I love this stuff. So their spirit beings help them in healing and initiation. When I saw that, I blew my mind. I was like, that's why there's so many African tribes doing these big initiations for iboga, and like there's all kind of, they do some. I would love to visit. Anyway, and then the Western occultism to me is the weirdest, and that's kind of like I'm
That's
sorry, I should
weird.
not say that. So anyway, um, it's thought forms. Like it's not weird, it's normal, but it's just different than the rest. That's all.
Right.
So thought forms. So the things that we sit here and tell ourselves all day, we could just make a whole entity out of that. And basically, it's what happens. It just creates a whole thing. And then the egregores, which is what I have not heard of, but I've known them as pendulums in the past. They're just a big old piece of energy that a bunch of people think. So, like whoever politics, like I don't watch the news, but the news could be a big entity that everyone's focused in on, right? Or it could be, you know, it could be love, like whoa, but most likely it's all the whatever big things that people hate and are passionate about. So it creates a big egregore, is what they call it. Interesting. And then some spirit influence as well. So, the mystery bottom line is there is no consensus. They could be, pieces of, they could be autonomous beings, they could be our psyche, like generating archetypes. They could co-create reality between mind and medicine, all of the above. Just approach with
Yeah. I mean, they could be
discernment.
spirit, energy, hybrid spirit and energy. So many things. We could talk about this forever.
Yeah, I feel like we should do a few more. Like, so I would, my suggestion, it's perfect timing. My suggestion would be to open with, approach with openness and discernment. So just know, so like all of the ways that we said they come, figure out what the way is, like whatever you're experiencing, feel it. Like, really, is it scary? Is it scary really, or do you just want to be scared because it's not normal or typical for
Or
you?
maybe because it's unknown.
Or
Before it
unknown,
was unknown to me, I was really scared of
Me
it. I had a
too, me
lot
too.
of fear. Like I was not gonna watch any type of dark demonic movie, and now I'm like, I'm your Huckleberry, you know. But I
It's just
definitely
not
think,
scary
fear
anymore.
of the unknown, and what is that, and that can even be, with light or dark entities, and with light or dark spirit
Yeah.
entities or energetic entities. I mean, I know that the first time I ever saw, a high vibrational spirit, I was, oh, that's what's
Maybe
this?
this is crying.
This is a lot, and I mean, so I had this fear because of the unknown, and now it's just you live it enough and see it enough and experience enough, you ask a lot of questions.
Curiosity.
Hmm.
Curiosity, because we don't know, and we will never
Right.
know until we die, and we might not know then either. So why not be super curious and continue like to be curious no matter how much stuff you know? Because I've learned this a long time ago, about a year or two into my path. I was like, oh, I know all this shit. I'm serious. I know all this stuff, But no, like now, give it a few years later, you realize you don't know anything. It's so big.
And then what
There's
you know may
so much.
change.
And then what
What
you
you know
know
you
may
don't
change.
know.
That might be the real reason where I know that I don't know everything because
Mhm.
what I knew changed so many times.
Yeah.
That's my deal.
Mhm.
That's really good. Okay, well, are you complete? Do you feel
I
complete?
feel complete.
I feel complete as well. So we have about 10 minutes left, but that's okay. We won't stick to a strict situation tonight. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's
Thank you.
conclave on entities. Thank you, Brittany,
Thank you.
my sister, for being here because I knew this was going to be fun. I just had to have her. So we do have shoot, I'm almost positive it's Monday night. Look on the calendar. It could be Tuesday, but I think it's Monday. The end of the Toe Talk series. This was a big thing, and they were really nice to go out and literally give us live coverage from like seeing about these toads. So check that out. And then we have the Energy Conclave next Thursday with Benjamin and myself. And we will be doing it on preparation for ceremony. Okay, so thank you guys very much, and see you next week.